talk about police brutality, police misconduct in America, and really in the black community. It has been an issue that has been brewing in America, been in the media for some time. And so what we want to do, man, is touch the topic, be able to identify some of the problems. Police brutality and violence is a major issue in our communities. For so long, we have been seeing young black men and women hands five be murdered by police than their counterparts. And nearly 30% of all murders at the hands of the police, the victims are unarmed, which raises a major concern. Of the 104 cases in 2015, only 13 officers were charged with crimes. 4 led to mistrials or charged drop, and only 4 of those cases result in convictions. Those officers were Matthew Ajibade, Eric Harris, Patterson Brown, and William Chapman. There have been a long line of murders, black victims in America. And I just want to put some of the names out there to lay upon our minds some of these victims. Some you may have heard of, some you may not have heard of. We know the big names of the Michael Browns out of Ferguson, or Trayvon at the hands of Mr. Zimmerman himself. We understand Miss Sandra Lang. We remember Sean Bell, of Jordan Davis, playing the loud music. And I just want to detail a few other names. We have Kenneth Childish from Las Vegas in December 31st, 2015, was murdered at the hands of the police. In Chicago, we had Batty Jones on December the 25th, 2015. In Dearborn, Michigan, we had Kevin Matthews on the 23rd of December, 2015. Michael Knowles in St. Martin, we have Leroy Browning of Palmdale, Roy Jones of Maywood, California. In Yonkers, New York, we have Miguel Espino. In Barnstone, California, Nathan Pickett. In Portage, Indiana, Tierra Thomas. In Opelika, Florida, Cornelius Brown. In Missouri, Minnesota, Jamal Clark, among countless others, of police officers murdering our men in the street. Some of the causes of these things we have yet to explore. Right here in the community in which I live in, although there's not direct actions of murdering at the hand of the police, there are times when the police do come in our community and exact injustice on our people with false arrests, trumped up charges. But as we begin to see the movement of the Black Lives Matter movement confronting the issues of police brutality, it is a big issue. And we know that the police department started at the back end of slavery when slaves used to run away. And they had to put together a team, bandit chasers, as they would call us, to chase down the runaway slaves. And this created a police force. And then during Jim Crow time, they had instituted laws that would incriminate us. 2 or more of us could not be together. They created Jim Crow laws and black laws that would criminalize us to put us in the judicial system and strip us of our rights. Now, today, we see an influx in the 90s and the early 2000s of drug use. We see the escalating violence of gun violence in the black community and in urban cities. And this has led to police departments throughout America to weaponize themselves with military. They're bringing in big tanks. They're bringing in bigger guns. And so we've seen this demonstration at the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, how the people wanted to raise concern and display their human civil rights protests. And they brought in military weapons, big trucks, tear gas, press the masses, the people. And we're seeing this throughout America, where police forces are no longer carrying small guns on their hip, but now they have M16s, AR-15s, and in some cases, maybe AK-47s. They're bringing in high-tech weapons because they believe that we pose a force of violence in our own communities. And this is not the total reason, but it's something that I have been looking at, that it has placed in their minds that if we're willing to kill each other in our own communities, then it will open up the door for them to kill us. And we have seen instances with the young brother in Cleveland, Ohio, Timar, where the police just jump out and here it is a little pop gun. One time actions like that was unheard of, but now it's a reality in our communities. And so what I'm asking us is to pay attention to the time. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that there's a war on two fronts. They have declared war on the black community, economically, politically, socially, educationally, and even through the judicial system. We are going into their courtrooms and we are being lynched, constantly going into prison. And when we're out in the community, they're looking at the escalating gang activity here in the state of Virginia, on the eastern seaboard, and really throughout America. Their views that our young men and young women are urban terrorists and that we are terrorizing the neighborhoods with violence, terrorizing our own neighborhoods with drugs and instability. And they believe in their mind that they can come in. This is the mind rooted in white supremacy, that we should ever be subjugated and they should ever be in a position of control, which is a far-fetched. This is the mindset of our president. He believes that him and his horses should be able to call the shots and do whatever they want, regardless to what the masses of the people have to say. In your own community, Pou'Er TV and its constituents are asking you to stand firm against police brutality. Speak out against it. Go down to your local police department and speak to the chief of police. That is something Pou'Er TV is planning to do in the future. Those police officers that are controlling your communities, speak to them. Ask them, what is their true concern? Is it really to protect and serve, or serve and protect, or really to just come in and make a check and meet quotums of how many people that they can detain and lock up, how many summons they can write, how many tickets they can write? Speak to them. We must get involved. If you go to Pou'Er TV, that's POU_ER TV on Messenger and on Facebook, you will see the videos that we have uploaded, the Black Lives Matter movement. We have gotten the statistical data on police brutality and police violence throughout America, and in particular in our community. We have uploaded the facts. You can see where these crimes are taking place. You can see the statistical facts. You can look at a long line of people who have been murdered at the hands of the police. Some of these cases are nationally known, some of them are not. Our job to bring these truths to you so you can see the data, so you can read the facts, so you can know the facts. That way, man, you can get involved on your local level and begin to curb these type of atrocities in our community. We can stand against that. But oftentimes we find ourselves standing on the sideline, voicing our concern, voicing our complaints, and not getting involved. We must not be afraid. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked for 10,000 feelers to step up and help make our communities a safe place. In order to do that, we must be involved, not just in talk, but we must be involved on the grassroots level, planning and organize, involving ourselves. And that's something Pou'Er TV want to get into more of. Cross-marketing, cross-promoting organizations and programs, because we share the same commonality. We want safe communities. It is now school time. We want our young boys and girls to be able to go to the bus stop and not see drug and prostitution and violence on the corner. The time to seeing our young boys and young girls being murdered at the hands of the police or even at the hands of each other must end. We must promote life and not death. And so we're asking you, man, to get involved. Talk to your local congressman. Talk to your local delegate. Talk to the mailman. Talk to your next door neighbor. How do we curb these types of violence? And whether you know it or not, on the local levels, you control who's elected, from the mayor to the vice mayor, even all the way down to the local prosecutors and the judge. These are seats that go through elections, and you can create blocks to control those seats, even if we are convicted felons. In the state of Virginia, convicted felons at the end of Terry McCullough and Ralph Northam, the current governor of Virginia, they are working hard to restore the voting rights, the political aspirations and rights of ex-offenders. Whatever quorum that you have to meet them. If you cannot directly vote to influence the process, get out and share the word. Go out into the community and voice your concern, because the people who have lack of knowledge surely will perish. We can get involved. We must come up with ideas and solutions to teach and share with our young men, to help train them to be able to see the danger signs, the warning signs of being out into the community and knowing that there are rogue police officers out there. Learn how to cooperate with the process. And man, know that you only have but one life. You must protect that life by any means necessary. Allow no one to take your life from you. We're not promoting you to be faggots, be sissies, and be soft. Defend yourself at all costs. But if you could prevent a tragic situation at a traffic stop, a tragic situation at a corner or at a store, prevent that moment. But if you believe that your life is in danger, then we are encouraging you to protect your life. We promote peace, but you have a right to protect your own life. Yeah. We must come up with strategies, plan and organize in our community to keep rogue police out of our communities. It will be best that we control and patrol our own communities. We have many organizations and many brothers and sisters who are qualified to come in and patrol our own communities. We should be free indeed, and one of those freedoms is to be free of the oppression and repression of our own enemies. Yeah, we can do that, but we must want to do that. Come up with ways of how to better the community. Find the people in the community that can help get in, that you can help get involved to make these decent places to live. And when we identify police that are in our community, get the badge number, report them to their authorities. And it goes all the way up to reporting them to the mayor. Make them known, expose them. Because the more that they hide and do their wickedness in their dirt, the more he brings pain and devastation and hurt into our communities and to our families. And we see a perpetual cycle of young men and women and young boys and girls going off into these houses of purgatory or prison houses. And the prison houses today are really not there to make you better. They're only to warehouse you, suck taxpayer dollars, and fund jobs to countless others, only to your demise. So you can control as to whether you will stay there or be there. You don't have to be there. And we can prevent others from being there. So come up with plans, strategize and organize, and get around these ideas that you and your community come up with to make them safe and better. We must stand resolutely against police brutality. On the back page of the final call, it says that we want an immediate end to the police brutality and mob attacks against the so-called Negroes in America. We demand that right. We have a right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. No one should be out plotting against our lives. And when we identify them, we must expose them and deal with them. Now, violence, fratricide, gang violence, urban violence, community wars, black on black crime. It is not enough for us to cry when the police kill us. It is not enough to cry atrocities that are going on at the hands of the police in the cities of Chicago, in the cities of Miami, in the cities of Richmond, Virginia, Virginia Beach, New York City, and countless other places. We must also raise the concern and the voice of black on black crime. Because according to the statistics, more blacks kill each other and inflict harm on each other than the police. And that is a problem. We must not be cowardly enough to scream when they do it to us, but we must also voice the concern to get out and speak to the violence that we are inflicted upon self. We must demonstrate love to each other. And when we begin to love each other and show that love and express it and promote it, then those who are on see the unity and the bond that we have for one another. And they will be less inclined to come in and do the things that they do, because they know there's a consequence for doing that. And it must be a strong consequence in order to rid off the future threat. Why so much violence? Why so much tendency? Why so much gang activity? It is my understanding, and granted, I'm not a gang member, I'm not a Blood, I'm not a Crip, I'm not a GD. I'm not a part of any of those organizations, though I got love for all of those brothers. When I was doing time in the Virginia Department of Correction, as a Nation of Islam coordinator, I received love and support from all of those brothers. They supported the Nation of Islam Prison Reform Ministry behind the wall. But in the communities, it seems as though we have strayed away from the principles of what the organization represents. We should strive to find ways to work together despite our organization and our philosophical differences, even down to our religious differences. There is something that binds us together, man, and that is the struggle. The struggle don't know color lines. At the end of the day, we really don't control anything in our community. Someone else is controlling it. And we have this belongs to us. It does belongs to us if we are doing what's right. But when we do what's wrong, then we relinquish that authority, we relinquish that power, we will relinquish that right. Let's find ways to work together. We shouldn't be killing each other or inflicting violence on each other, hurt and pain. So many black mothers are crying. So many families are being ripped apart, whether we send them to the graveyard or we send them to the prison system. Families are being destroyed. Young boys are growing up without mothers. Mothers are now burying their children. Young women are now being murdered in the street. So much violence. We have the sensational lust for firearms. And not knowing that these laws that govern firearms was not meant for you and I. There was a time when we couldn't even own upon these legal embargoes. Let's put down the guns, man, and let's pick up some resolutions and some solutions to the problems that we face. We can do this. Find commonalities. Educate ourselves on the history of our people, on the struggles that we have endured, and most importantly, educate yourself on who is the real enemy. Because the brother in blue is not your real enemy. The brother in red is not your real enemy. The brother in light blue or orange or burgundy or black is not your enemy. The enemy is one who demises your rise. And he is no longer hiding today. He is right on Capitol Hill. He is right in the White House. He got a constituent crew called the Synagogue of Satan. And they are constantly organizing and plotting and planning on the 85%. And enriching themselves because they are among the upper echelon. Donald Trump is a problem to himself, to the Democrats, to the Republicans, but also America and the world. If you have not been able to recognize that from the for president all the way up to the time now, to this hour, he has been wreaking havoc on the American populace and the world. We got to find ways to come together to ease this pain. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, man, that we are living in the hour of the fall of America. And he said, if we are not careful, then we will be sucked up in that fall, even though God's solution, his plan and his message and his man is on the scene working. Find love in our community. Stop the violence. Pool our resources. Buy up the vacant properties, provide jobs, promote education and vocational training for our young men. We can do this. Promote good health, but we must stop the violence. I'm not a psychologist. We never profess to be such. But I do know that growing up in a pot or in an area that is infested with violence, crime, it does something to the mental health of the individual. And so we see mental health issues in our community, and it's manifest in our everyday behavior, right down to having these crushed wills. Our will must become empowered. We must be inspired to get up and do something for ourselves, man. No more should we sit on the sideline and complain about what's going on, expecting someone else to get involved to do for us what we can do for ourselves. We must get up, man. We must find the need. We must have the audacity and the courage to get up and do something. Pick up your bed and let's move. Put down the guns. Put down the drugs. Pick up education. Find a means to talk. This is what power is all about, man. Empowering us to take it to the next level. Stand against police brutality. Speak out against it. Continue to record it and expose it. Stop voting for these rogue prosecutors and these rogue judges and these politicians that don't have our best interests at hand. Get involved. And in our communities, let's strive to show more love. Let's speak to our neighbors. Let's provide safe community, safe playgrounds, so our young boys and girls can go to the bus stop this new school year and be safe. Our black men who have children, take your children to the bus stop. If you get an opportunity to take your grandson or your granddaughter, your niece or your nephew, take them to the bus stop. Show them that you care, them with love, because that's one of the main ingredients that is needed to bring forth change in our community and even in our own personal lives. And always know, man, that when Pou'Er TV come on, that's what we're doing. We're seeking to inspire, we're seeking to motivate, and we're seeking to empower. So I thank you for tuning in. One other thing, we have the Pou'Er apparel. It's coming to you soon. If you're interested, hit us up, man, on Facebook and let us know and give us your size, and we get you some ordered, man. For those who don't know what this is, man, this is the upper head of the god Horus, the Egyptian god Horus. If you don't have the proper education on it, man, go get the research book, Google it. Horus means he who is high, he who is most distant. It's the upper head of the hawk, which is the most mightiest bird in the Egyptian empire. That's what we're seeking to be, that agent of change that soars high. He who is high, he who is distant. We are trying to take it to the next level. So that's what Pou'Er stands for. If you're interested in it, contact us, man. Facebook or Messenger, and we'll get it to you. Until then, man, we salute you. We love you. Thank you.